You can call Kutztown Live at 610-683-4859. And now, your host for Kutztown Live, Juliana Jablonski.
Good afternoon and welcome to Kutztown Live, Kutztown University's campus and community talk show. I'm your host, Juliana Jablonski, here with my co-host, Mike O'Mara.
What up?
Thank you for tuning in with us on this Tuesday afternoon. Last week, here on Kutztown Live, we spoke to Megan O'Toole. She is the ARD of Dixon Hall and was here to tell us a little bit about Bear Fest that is coming up later on in April. We also spoke to Kathy Loomis about the upcoming Out of the Darkness Walk. We also spoke to Elizabeth, the Director of University's Business Services. We spoke to Jen, the Branch Manager of Enterprise, and we also spoke to another Jen from the KU Card Office.
I love all of that. Amazing show.
Yes, it was quite a full show last week. And if you missed last week's show or any show from a few weeks ago, be sure to head on over to the Kutztown University Radio page on YouTube and look under the Kutztown Live tab.
Preach.
Yes, be sure to subscribe and click the little bell beside where it says subscribe to be notified whenever a KU Live show is posted. And while you're out there on the internet, be sure to like Kutztown Live on Facebook and Kutztown University Radio to stay up to date on all things going on KUR related.
Beautiful plug. Love it, Juliana.
And now, on to today's show. We will be speaking to baseball player Ryan Cox. We will also be speaking to Lori D'Onofrio Galli from the Northeast Berks Chamber of Commerce. Along with her is her guest, Andrea Funk, who will be one of the keynote speakers for the Chamber Dinner on May 17th. Mike O'Mara, KUR's very own, will be filling us in on some KUSGB information. And we will also be hearing an interview from KU veteran Matt Stefancin.
Stefancin. See, it's a fun name. Matt, if you're listening, we got you. Don't worry.
And here with us now is Ryan Cox. Hello, and welcome to Kutztown Live.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, what up, Coxie?
What's going on?
I just want to make abundantly clear, it's Coxie. Yeah, so everyone's listening out there. If you ever see this dude going all over the place in the field, shout him out. You go, what up, Coxie? How you doing? He's always doing good.
I appreciate that.
What? Okay, this might be I don't know much about sports. What number are you?
Number 5.
Number,
I was
yeah.
I was about to be like, do baseball players have numbers? But
Oh, yeah, they do. Why are you 5?
To.
Why are you 5, Coxie?
I was 2 and 7 kind of back and forth my whole life, and actually when I came to Kutztown, a senior had 2, and I wore 2 because Derek Jeter was my favorite player. I was playing shortstop at the time. And 5 was a big one. I mean, you remember Reggie Bush in college at USC tearing it up with 5. Just such a standout number for me that I thought it was a good choice, and I played well with it, so I kept it.
Well, now you're infield.
Yeah, now I'm playing first base. Moved over here this year.
And you're pretty good at it.
I'm doing okay, yeah.
You're doing okay, yeah.
I'm figuring it out. We had a lot of different people work with me, whether it was other first basemen on the team or the coaching staff and stuff, to kind of help me with my footwork and make the adjustment over there. And I think it's been a big adjustment, but I've handled it quite well. I feel pretty comfortable over there now.
Well, you're a redshirt junior.
Senior, redshirt senior.
Oh, redshirt senior. I apologize. They got to update the website. They got to update it. And like you were being modest. You are phenomenal on both sides of the ball. You, according to this, just a brief snapshot of the statistics, you're leading the team in hits. I'm pretty sure you're right up there in RBIs, if not the top. I think you have 14 this year. You have the most. What is that? You had the most putouts. Is that the correct term?
Yeah.
Apologies. You had the most putouts the other game.
Putouts.
You are just doing it all, man. You are really doing it all. You got the RBIs in game. You got the RBIs collectively. Your field percentage is the biggest sample size. It's not the best because a lot of people haven't been looking at the stats. You have people at 1,000 because they fielded 1 or 2 balls. But you got the biggest size, statistical size, and you have the best numbers. So, I mean, you have the example and you have the work ethic to show for it. So, man, you're doing good this season.
A lot of that, I do work pretty hard, and our coaching staff does a lot for us to get us prepared. But
I can imagine.
Baseball's different than a lot of sports. Like, you won't have a quarterback that does everything, or in basketball, like a LeBron James type of person. So, a lot of my numbers reflect what my teammates do around me and allow me to succeed in opportunities with guys on base, or to make plays in the field by pitchers either covering over on ground balls or guys making good throws to first. So it's a team effort. I think we're doing a pretty decent job as a team.
I would agree because you got that 6-6 record, and I mean I'm not trying to bring up any sour memories of last season, but you did have a sub 500 record last year. You didn't do that great. However, you're starting off fairly strong. I mean, you had a lot of games away, so it's expected to have a little struggles at the gate. But I mean, you got a home game, and you have one coming up.
Yeah, we have one Friday, doubleheader against Millersville, and the spring games earlier. They're a test, and at the same point, they're not, because you're trying to find yourself as a team, trying to find your identity. Everyone's trying to find their role, and your first time out, so you're getting those jitters out of the way. And if you see early, like our first time we went away, we struggled a little bit, made some key adjustments, came back, had a very successful second trip down south. We ended up at the time beating the number 4 team in the country.
Nice.
Now we came back and we struggled a little bit this weekend, but thankfully it was only 2 games. We have 26 more conference games, not to mention the non-conference ones as well. And I know we're going to make adjustments to go out and be competitive in the following weekends.
You're saying all the right things. I appreciate it, Paxi. With the PSAC, when you're looking at it, how do you guys measure? How do you feel as if you're going to do when you start looking toward the future, the next week, the next month?
I think our conference, not a lot of people pay attention to how good it is. It's consistently good, and whether that's Millersville 2 years ago, runner-up in the national championship game, Westchester won the Division II national championship last year. Those are people we see 4 times a year. So, even the other side of the conference, like Mercyhurst, I was saying, is a very good ball club. So you play good teams every weekend, and you look at the numbers now, and you watch guys, and you see statistics from other teams' spring trips. The conference looks pretty open. I think if we play the game that we can play and don't try to do anything we can't do, we'll hang, and I think we'll find our way into playoffs. And playoffs are just like anything else. You get hot at the right time, any team can do anything. And I think we have a really good group of veteran guys, a lot of seniors on the team. We have 2 fifth-year seniors, Dario Richardson, Mike Kammerer, who have won a PSAC championship here at Kutztown. So they know what that run's like to lead us down the stretch. Myself as a senior leader and the seniors as well, we've been doing a good job of keeping the team together. I think our chemistry is really going to set us apart, not just overall talent, but the way we can play together, and I think that's what's going to take us over the top.
So you got a lot of veteran leadership.
Yeah, and we have a lot of young guys that are doing a lot too. A lot of freshman pitchers.
Good to hear it.
It's really
that was my next question. I was going to say how the young guys looking.
They're doing well. You talk about. I remember when I was a freshman coming into college, and the pace of the game is so much faster. And people tell you about it, but there's no way to prepare for it other than being in the moment. And you look at a lot of guys' first outings. Either some of them did really well, or they learned a lesson on what they can improve on and how to adjust to the pace of the game. And then they came back out in their second opportunity and did well and have been successful. You have a lot of young guys, really supporting the upperclassmen if they do play in front of them or getting other opportunities. So they're really just trying to soak it all in and learn, and I think they're doing a good job of hitting the ground running.
Beautiful, man. And you mentioned the strength of you guys is your cohesion, your ability to work together, your ability to communicate. Mm-hmm. That's very strong. You got to have that going into any season. But what's a and I'm not trying to point one thing out, but what's a weakness that you guys in just 12 games have been like, we got to pick it up. We really got to start fixing this before it becomes an issue.
I just think we're a little bit inconsistent with our energy. And I think that's
always tough.
Yeah, it's hard to catch, especially early in the year, if you're not playing a consistent time. So, like, we had 4 games, and then we had 2 weeks off, and then we played 4 games, and then we almost had 2 weeks off with the delay of the Bloomsburg series. Yeah. So when you score and things are going your way, it's easy to have that energy. But if you hit adversity and you're down early in the game or you're down a lot, it's hard to keep that energy going. So if we can consistently bring the fire to the ballpark and be ready to play for all 7 innings, regardless win or loss, I think that's going to help us stay more consistent and pull out those close games instead of being slightly behind.
So what did you learn from? I mean, you guys, for all intents and purposes, you lost this weekend pretty good. I mean, I'm pretty sure you only scored 2 runs in 2 games.
Correct.
What do you take away from an experience like that this early in the season?
You're thankful that it's this early in the season, to be honest with you, because you can learn from this.
Sure.
You talk about it coming into practice, and you try to build up the hype for what conference play actually is. And I think this weekend we just let conference play be too big. We just got to treat baseball like a game. It doesn't know if it's the playoffs or if you're playing pickup on the sandlot. You just got to go out and play the game the way it's meant to be played. And we kind of got outside of our approach and tried to do too much this weekend, which is fine. That happens to the best of them. So I think there's a lot of lessons we can learn, but it's just more of a mental, slow the game down, have fun with it, enjoy it, and the bounces will go your way.
Yeah, and then I'm going to talk reiterate a little bit about this weekend's game. So Millersville, Friday, 1 p.m., 3:30 here at home, correct?
Correct.
The Keystone Field. And anyone can kind of just come up and hang out?
Yeah, no charge for attendance. You can bring a blanket and sit on the lawn. There's bleachers available. Some people even bring dogs, so if you like dogs, there'll be some dogs floating around the ballpark. Hopefully we have the good weather. I haven't checked. We're talking about maybe having to move the series because of rain or whatnot. But the website does a good job of keeping an update with the posts, and
yes, it does.
Especially going into April, if we're playing good baseball and we're winning, it'd be great to see people out enjoying the weather and supporting us.
And the away game, and if you're not here this weekend and you want to watch them either at home or away, the Go Bears Go hashtag is a good way to get a general snapshot of the statistics that are happening, or at least the updates of the game on Twitter and Facebook and stuff. And I'm pretty sure, and I think all the sports, they do live streaming on the website.
Correct. Yeah.
So you can just watch the whole game from the comfort of your home. If you're like, you know what, I'm an hour away, I can't do that, or I'm a fan 2 hours. I'm a fan across the country. Let me just go on KUBears.com and watch the live stream of the baseball game. I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Some places, if you're lucky, will even have a video stream. I don't know if our side of the conference they do, but I've seen them. So if you get lucky, because we played Barton down south, and they live streamed the game video, which was awesome too.
I want to ask you one last question, Coxie.
Mm-hmm.
On your little snapshot profile, all the players here got them. There's always the questions. One of them is, why'd you choose KU? And you said you had a great sports marketing program. Now that's a yeah, all right, yeah. But not only that, what is the one thing that made you stay? Not just the reason that made you decide, but the reason that made you stay, not only in the sports marketing program, but in the baseball program.
Honestly, it's the people around me. Like any college student, I think you go through adversity at times, whether it's trying to figure it out in the classroom or whatever it may be, and trying to balance schedules and whatnot. And I didn't do a great job of that, and I actually had an opportunity to maybe not go back to school or whatever, but the people around me really supported me, taught me how to organize my time, how to continually stay motivated and get better. You have success in baseball, or you have a love for baseball, you're going to continue to pursue that passion. And I figured out what work ethic works for me and how to be successful. And honestly, I just got credit that to the people around me and what they've been able to provide for me here at Kutztown, whether that's professors, coaching staff, athletic department, the trainers, my friends. Even you guys here have been so kind and nice. That's the kind of environment you want to be around. So that's kind of why I stuck around.
Beautiful, man. The culture, the community.
Exactly, it's the culture.
Amazing, Coxie. Well, Coxie, thank you so much. You're gonna have a phenomenal game this week. I
appreciate it. That's the good luck I need. Bring it on, man. I appreciate that.
You're gonna get it. Juliana, take us home.
All right. Well, thank you so very much for coming in and to talk to us here on Kutztown Live. We will be right back talking to Lori D'Onofrio-Galli from the Northeast Berks Chamber of Commerce with her special guest, Andrea Funk. Stay tuned.
Ray's Pizza de Sogno is the newest buzz on Main Street. Located at 478 West Main, Ray's has specialty Italian pinwheels, handmade mozzarella, and hot slices at the ready. To order your favorites, dial 484-648-2720. That's 484-648-2720, or order online at rayspizzadesogno.com. That's rayspizza, DASOGNO.com. Mention KURadio for a special treat. Today is the start of your dream vacation. By land or by sea, the first decision is your destination. Cruise the Caribbean, ride rivers, and tour towns. Dream Vacations right here in Kutztown helps you get to where you want to go. Contact travel consultant Ellen Overcast by dialing 610-781-6950 or by email at eovercast@dreamvacations.com or the Dream Vacations website at www.mainstreetgetaways.com.
Since the early 70s, Friends Incorporated, located at 658 D Noble Street in Kutztown, has helped thousands of families in northeastern Berks County strengthen relationships with themselves and their community through a wide range of outreach services. Every family and individual is offered case management services, food pantry assistance, counseling, support groups, and program referrals. Contact Friend Incorporated at 610-683-7790. That's 610-683-7790. Or visit their website, www.friendinc.org. Friend Incorporated, helping our neighbors to strengthen our community.
The Northeast Berks Chamber of Commerce is your premier resource and voice for trusted local business. The Chamber advances regional economic and cultural growth through supportive collaboration with business and community organizations, as well as government. For more information, call the Northeast Berks Chamber of Commerce at 610-683-8860. That's 610-683-8860, or visit their website at northeastberkschamber.com.
Hello and welcome back to Kutztown Live, Kutztown University's campus and community talk show. I am here with my co-host Mike O'Mara.
What up?
And we just spoke to baseball player Ryan Cox. Here with us now is Lori D'Onofrio Galli from the Northeast Berks Chamber of Commerce. And with her is her special guest this week, Andrea Funk. Hello and welcome to Kutztown Live.
Thank you, Juliana and Mike. We're so happy to be here today to promote our Northeast Berks Chamber events. And remember that if you're interested in any of our programs, special events, or networking activities, please visit our website at northeastberkschamber.com. We're especially excited about a program that will be held tomorrow here in the McFarland Student Union, and we have again organized a women's panel and networking luncheon. That will be held at 11 a.m. It's free of charge and open to the public as part of the week-long Entrepreneurship Week. So we're very thankful for the College of Business and the Entrepreneurial Leadership Center for inviting us to participate. Tomorrow on our women's panel, we will hear from Annette Faust from Celebrate Together, Diane Klinger from Integrity Services and Solutions, Marie Moser from East Point Search Group, Adrian Turner of Turner Coaching, Training, and Consulting, Heather Uzinski from Leading Edge Business Consulting, and Jennifer Brown-Wegman of Insight Information Solutions. Later in the evening, around 5:15 p.m., we're also involved in a family business workshop. So if anyone's interested in any of those programs or anything else that's scheduled during the week, please visit the Kutztown University website and check the tab for Entrepreneurship Week. Also coming up on our schedule at the Chamber is another exciting virtual member event. This will be hosted and sponsored by Insight Information Solutions, and it will be held on April 25th from 12 noon to 1 p.m., and it'll be a virtual mastermind session that is open to members of the Northeast Berks Chamber of Commerce. Our next big focus on the agenda relates to our guest today, Andrea Funk, and that is our first chamber dinner, which will be held at Kutztown University. Juliana, it seems that we're always here at the university, doesn't it?
I guess so.
We're very happy about our partnerships here. The public is invited to attend our first annual chamber dinner. It is sponsored by East Penn Manufacturing, and it will be held on May 17th. From 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. here in the McFarland Student Union. You can still get tickets at the early bird price. We have sold out half of our seats at this point, but the discounted reservations are available through March 31st. And again, information about the event, sponsorships, and nominations for the Member of the Year Award can be found on our website. Today our guest is Andrea Funk. She's a rather well-known and visible personality here in Berks County, and she was formerly the CEO of Cambridge Lee Industries. I just met Andrea a few weeks ago when we met to discuss the chamber dinner, but I first saw her when I was involved with Students Interacting with Business on a video that was produced for 9th grade students across Berks County. Welcome, Andrea. We're happy to have you today.
Thanks for having me, Lori, and Mike and Juliana. It's nice to meet you as well.
Yes, nice to meet you too. Welcome,
Hi.
and thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Andrea, why don't you tell us a little bit about your career and your background and how you became involved in manufacturing?
Sure. Well, I did my undergrad at Villanova, so those of you watching March Madness, go Cats. And was an accounting major with a sociology minor. Spent some time in public accounting, got my CPA. Worked in a couple different industries, Bell Atlantic, Rhone-Poulenc Rohr, which was a pharmaceutical company, and then landed with Aero International, medical device company that was in Berks County. Started there, financial planning and analysis, did some business development, so a little mergers and acquisition work, and then settled as Senior Director of Manufacturing Finance and Strategy. So that's what really got me into manufacturing. And spent some time there, and when Aero was acquired, our CEO was also on the board of Carpenter, and they created a role for me over at Carpenter similar to what I did at Aero that got me into metals. And I went from Carpenter over to Cambridge Lee, where I first served as the CFO and then the CEO.
That's amazing. How many women CEOs of manufacturing companies are out there in the world?
Less than 0.5%. In fact, just this morning, I came from Harrisburg, where Senator Judy Schwenk is proposing a resolution, Resolution 255, in which they are encouraging Pennsylvania businesses and nonprofits to pursue at least 30% women board and senior management representation by 2020.
That's very interesting. Now, Cambridge Lee Industries is certainly a very recognizable name, and that's near Leesport. And it was formerly known as Reading Tube. Is that correct? Years ago?
Yeah. Even though it's been over 20 years, people still think of us as Reading Tube.
Yes, exactly. So you told us a little bit about how you got involved in manufacturing, and I know that you also serve on a number of boards, and you're very philanthropic, and you're involved in community organizations as well. Why don't you tell us about those activities?
Sure. Well, I sit on 2 for-profit boards. One is Crown Holdings, which is a New York Stock Exchange company located out of Philadelphia. And I also sit on the board of Touchpoint Holdings, which is a global holding company. Their biggest platform is Southco, where they manufacture industrial hinges and latches. And then from a nonprofit standpoint, there's many organizations that I'm involved in within Berks County. I sit on the board of Caron Treatment Centers, and I'm involved with United Way and the Berks Chamber of Commerce and the Berks Business Education Coalition.
Right. And in fact, BBEC is the one that started Students Interacting with Business, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that you were hosting tours of students at Cambridge Lee.
We had once a year, I think, for 4 days, we have hundreds of kids that came through and toured our facility.
Now, as a woman CEO of a manufacturer, what was your greatest challenge and also your greatest success during those years?
Well, over the last, I served as CEO for the last 5 years. I was with Cambridge Lee for 7. But one of the things that's probably most notable, we relocated a $65 million manufacturing operation from Mexico to our Berks County campus. So that was transformational for the industry. But for me, what I'm most proud of is the cultural impact that we made.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any advice for women who may be pursuing a leadership role like CEO?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you really need to have a lot of perseverance. It's challenging for women to break into a role like that, especially when it's not expected of you. And I think you need to have a sense of humor and not give up.
That sounds like a great strategy, right? A sense of humor. That's amazing. Juliana, do you have any questions?
None off the top of my head. Any that you have, Mike, that you've been thinking about? Mike just said this is his first time he's been sitting in here for chamber segment. He's
I love this.
Been in the room with us.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Just a general wave. Just some things off the top of my head. One, Judy Schwank's amazing. Shout out, Judy. We interviewed her last over the break, and we just love her to death.
Yeah, we just heard her interview just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Excellent.
And I'm astounded that small percentage of women are CEOs in the industrial corporations?
Manufacturing organizations, it's less than 0.5%. But
of
of all organizations, only 4% of the nation's largest companies today have a female CEO. Yeah, despite women making up half the workforce, so we've got a ways to go.
Yeah, everyone talks of that's just frustrating to me.
Well, to me, I think the important part here is, there's a lot of very capable women and minorities that are excluded from opportunities where they can really make a difference. But to me, what's more important is it's not just about discrimination or equal opportunities. It's really about performance. There's been many studies, such as a 2012 study by Credit Suisse, that found that companies with at least one female director on their board have consistently and statistically significant higher return on equity and stock value. In fact, in 2013, companies with less than 10% female senior managers had a 9.7% return on equity, but in contrast, companies with more than 15% female senior executives had a return on equity of 14.7%, so 50% higher. And obviously the real impetus there is when you have diversity of gender, of minorities, whatever the case may be, you tackle problems differently. You consider different perspectives and you avoid groupthink. So it's good for economy.
It's weird how communication makes things better. It's odd. It's odd how different perspectives. Who would have thought? Like,
from
what?
a radio broadcaster.
Yeah.
And it's documented, Mike. It's actually a documented statistic. That's great. Beautiful. Well, if anyone would like to hear more from Andrea and about creating a successful business, again, we have our chamber dinner on May 17th. Open to the public, northeastberkschamber.com. That's where you'll find your reservations. Thanks for having us today, Juliana.
Thank you both for coming on to
thank you.
Kutztown Live. It was wonderful to have you both here this afternoon.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
And we'll be right back with more of Kutztown Live.
PSECU is one of Pennsylvania's largest credit unions. Located in McFarland Student Union, room 280, PSECU offers students, faculty, and staff a full range of low-cost or free financial services. The credit union operates 3 ATMs on campus, free for members. For more information, visit www.psecu.com. That's www.psecu.com. Colleen's Craft and Flowers is your premier full-service florist and gift shop. Located at 16 North White Oak Street in the heart of Kutztown, Colleen's features an extensive line of unique gifts in addition to a wide selection of fresh flowers. KU students are encouraged to use bear bucks for birthdays, anniversaries, or just because. And yes, Colleen's delivers. For more information, call Colleen's at 610-683-9330. That's 610-683-9330, or visit kutztownflorist.com. Since 1994, The Bagel Bar, located at 214 West Main Street in the borough of Kutztown, is a local internet cafe featuring strong varieties of New York bagels, cream cheeses, sandwiches, fresh brewed coffee, and smoothies. Whether you work, study, or live in the area, The Bagel Bar has your favorite breakfast and lunch. To place an order, call 610-683-5440. That's 610-683-5440. Mention you heard this on Kutztown University Radio.
My name is Bruce Moyer, and I am a PennDOT equipment operator in Berks. We work hard clearing roads during winter weather events to get drivers from place to place safely. If you encounter plow or salt spreader, remember to allow 6 car lengths between your vehicle and our equipment. Do not pass or get between the snow plows, and avoid distractions. For more information or winter safety tips, visit justdrivepa.com.
Yes, it's not true. Kutztown.
I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way.
Hello and welcome Welcome back to Kutztown Live, Kutztown University's campus and community talk show. We just spoke to Lori D'Onofrio Galli from the Northeast Berks Chamber of Commerce.
Yes,
and
we did.
Along with her was Andrea Funk. And before that, we started off today's show speaking to baseball player Ryan Cox. And here with us now is KUR's and KU Live's very own Mike O'Mara
What up?
to update us a little bit about what's going on with KUSGB.
Thank you. That was a nice little present wrapped up. Awesome. Love it. Well, Juliana,
Welcome. Tell me, what's going on? What's new?
I'll keep it brief. I mentioned it last week. Nominations for student government are happening right now. We need you. Your classmates need you. Your professors need you. Administration and your community.
And why do they need
needs you.
us?
Yeah. Well, board's ending right now. I don't want to say board's ending. 14 members are graduating, I think.
Okay.
And so that's a purge, you know. I mean, there's 33 people on that board, 34 now. That means
That's almost half.
Yeah, it's a lot of people that are leaving. Unfortunately, what that means is we're going to have to work into overdrive to make sure that there's people nominating themselves to represent. And what that means by representing is taking the concerns. So if Juliana here has a problem, say you have a problem with advisement, say you have a problem with something. Right now, a big issue right now is like finances, of course. Some bathroom availability. That's something that's been consistently communicated from multiple student organizations. If you sit there, you know what, I don't like how that rubs me the wrong way. I don't like that. Or maybe you love something and you want that conveyed, but you don't know how. Mm-hmm. We do. We know how to convey it. We constantly talk to the people that can actually make change happen. So we kind of facilitate that communication progress. I don't want to say we make all the decisions. We do kind of tell you where the money goes and all that. But for the most part, we just communicate with administration.
So say I have a problem or I have a compliment, either way,
Sure.
and I want to talk to someone. Where do I go to find out who I talk to?
Sure. Well, I'll get to that, and then we'll talk noms, okay?
All right.
At KUSGB is your friend. So if you're on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, at KUSGB, just tweet us. It's that simple. You can come to a meeting, which is actually be happening in about an hour and a half.
All right.
It's an academic forum, room 200. Usually they're in MSU 218, I believe, the formal dining room. And it's 223, my apologies, the formal dining room. And it's usually about an hour or so an event where we just kind of talk about some of the issues. Most recently, we've been talking a lot about the student success fee, and we're talking a lot about housing issues and housing solutions. So we've been communicating. If you want to get involved in your campus, and I'm not saying you're not involved because a lot of these students here on this campus are dedicated, but if you want to really, really, really get the nitty-gritty for what's going on this campus, you want to join KUSGB. It's a great resume builder. It really opens your perspective to what's happening on this campus. And right now, it's your opportunity to sign up. So if you really want to, just go on at KUSGB. The nomination links are all in the descriptions in those links. And if you do have any questions, I'm here. I run the accounts for the student government. So if you add us, I'll see it, and I'll respond to it. Because I'm here to help you guys. And the nominations end Thursday, 12 p.m. When? Thursday, 12 p.m.
When?
Thursday, 12 p.m. That's when it ends. Yeah.
All right.
That's really all I got for that. I mean,
All right.
What do you have, Juliana?
Sounds good. Just a few things going
Okay.
on here on campus. You
Yeah.
mentioned to me just a moment ago Star Wars is playing.
Star Wars, Last Jedi.
Be sure to go see that in the MSU
Yeah.
on Thursday night, Friday night, Saturdays and Sundays. Also, there is a slam poetry night that is tomorrow, March 28th at 7 in room 183 of the MSU. And I went to one last semester, and it was actually pretty fun and pretty cool. And I don't know, some people have just some unique stories and things to share. And so that was really interesting to hear. And then also, KU's Got Talent is March 29th. And they're still looking for people to perform at that. So be sure to sign up on K United.
That's Thursday.
If you want to perform. Do you have any special talents?
No. I'm talentless. I'm awful. I'm terrible.
All right. Well, up next, we've got an interview for you all from KU veteran Matt
Stefancin. Shout out to Matt. Hope you're having a great day.
All right.
Attention, Kutztown University spring graduates. KUSSI is sponsoring the Spring 2018 Graduation Festival on Monday, March 26th and Tuesday, March 27th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. in the McFarland Student Union Multipurpose Room 223.
The Graduation Festival is a one-stop shop for all your May graduation needs. You'll be able to verify the status of your graduation application, purchase your cap and gown, receive your graduation tickets, order your class rings, and much more. If you cannot attend, contact KUSSI Auxiliary Services Coordinator Jim Scully at 484-646-4338. That's 484-646-4338. Or visit McFarland Student Union Building, room 171, prior to the event. Congratulations, Golden Bears. We'll see you at GradFest. My name is Michael O'Mara. You're listening to a special segment on Kutztown Live where we speak to veterans, military students, affiliated students. And today, thanks to Stephanie Casado of the Veterans Center, we have Matt. Matt, how do you pronounce your last name again?
It's Stefancin.
Matt Stefancin. Well, Matt, thank you so much for coming today.
No problem.
Why are you here? What's going on?
So, Steph asked me to come down because I've been a student here for 5 years, and I'm one of the ones that's not afraid to speak my mind and to actually talk about.
It's a good quality.
The opportunities that we have here as student veterans, and not just student veterans, but dependents as well.
Mm-hmm. What's the difference between that?
So a dependent is somebody that their family member is the one that is serving or has served, and the student veteran is the one that did serve or is serving active, guard, reserve.
Okay. And you said you've been here for 5 years now.
Yes, this is my 5th year.
And we were talking a little bit before we jumped on. Non-traditional student, are you?
Non-traditional. In 2006, I graduated high school. September 2006, I went straight into the Air Force. I got assigned as an aircraft electrician, and I spent the next 7 years doing that job and loved my life for those 7 years. Mm-hmm. Not saying that I hate it now, but it was just a different world.
Well, what changed? What made you in the Air Force go, I'm going to go to Kutztown?
So I didn't have the choice of getting out. It was congressional reduction in force.
Okay.
And so it kind of like ripped the carpet out from under me. And when I came home, I had applied to Penn State, Slippery Rock, Westchester, and my cousin was coming here at the time, and she said, well, why don't you go check out Kutztown? And I had a really good friend that was going here too, and she said, yeah, I'll go with you, I'll show you around. And literally as soon as I walked into where the bookstore is, I was like, this is the place I'm going to. I know 100%.
Walked right into the bookstore, right in the MSU.
Right into the MSU in that entryway, and I was like, this is the school I want to go to. I got accepted to Penn State and Slippery Rock, and both of those I went and saw them, and I was like, I was a little iffy about it. And then as soon as I walked in, I was like, I just knew this was the place I wanted to go.
Beautiful. And you did you join the military club? Did you join the Veterans Center right when you got here?
It was September 2013. I had been told there was a meeting coming up, and I was like, yeah, I'll stop by and check it out. And it turned out to be the first meeting of the club. It was a second meeting of the club ever. Mm-hmm. The newest rendition, because I've been told there's been other organizations in the past that have come and gone. But that was the second meeting, and I was like, this is awesome. There's a bunch of us here. I had no idea. And so there was probably 12, 15 of us in the room, and I joined right away. We actually didn't have a veterans center at the time. Mm-hmm. We had no meeting room,
just
no
the
lounge,
military club.
Just the military club. We had a veterans coordinator, and she was one of the advisors of the club, but we had no space of our own to go to. That came about actually, I want to say spring of 2014, they opened that up.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that. I honestly didn't know that.
Yeah.
I always kind of thought the Veterans Center was always there.
No.
What was there before the Veterans Center? Do you know?
It was an office. I don't know what office.
Just an office.
I think eventually the reason that we got the space is because it was an unused office.
Yeah.
And they tied us in with connections, so technically we fall under the connections office.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, what? Okay, understood. I'll try to cut that part out. I'm trying to put it together. The Veterans Center, it's just in a weird location, so I'm just trying to think about it in a little better. So if you're a student, who's coming here in your shoes, traditional or otherwise, and he goes, look, I know this exists. Where the hell is it? Where do you find the Veterans Center here on campus?
The best way that I tell people is I say, okay, act like you're going to go to Starbucks, mm-hmm. but then on the right-hand side there's those double doors next to the TV screen.
Next to the big screen stuff.
Yeah, next to the big screen. double doors, go through that and the next door and down the creepy hallway at the end in where it makes a corner.
The MSU is a labyrinth.
Well, it's actually, I did a history project. This building has been built onto 3 times.
Wow.
It was built, and then they added on twice more after that.
Huh.
Yeah, I had to write a paper on this building. So that's why it's a labyrinth, because none of it all adds up. But, yeah, it's down the creepy hallway. We're in the corner of the hallway, and near the president's room, if people would know where that is.
Near MSU 250.
262.
262. You're
That's
262.
our office is 262.
And do you have office hours, regular office hours?
Office hours, 8 a.m. to 4:30 Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday, Thursday.
Wow. It's a lot of options.
Yeah.
A lot of opportunity for veterans here on campus, non-traditional.
We got everything in there. We got computers, we've got printing, we've got a fridge, a microwave, a coffee maker, an Xbox. If you're a veteran, you come by, you get snacks, you get drinks, you hang out. It's a quiet place to eat your lunch and meet other people.
Now, a little birdie, Stephanie, told me you got a job at Boeing.
Yes.
How did that happen?
In all honesty,
In a nutshell, yeah.
In a nutshell, the biggest reason that it happened is I was in the Air Force with a guy who got a job there, and he put my name in somebody's ear, and next thing I know, I had an interview. After I applied for 7 separate jobs. Mm-hmm. It was 7 jobs in 2 weeks, and I got picked up for one of them. Mm-hmm. And so that is how I ended up getting the job. But what really helped me what really helped me to nail the job is my time that I spent here around, instead of going straight from the Air Force to a job interview and I'm cut and dry and I'm robotic and whatnot, I spent time here around other people, around not just other student veterans and other people that have been out or people that are still in, around regular people, and in a somewhat controlled environment where I can test out what's what and how to shape myself to be I can't even say like a normal person, but how to be a more regulated and less regimented person.
How to think proactively, how to communicate effectively, and just consider other people in your day-to-day.
And instead of being a robot, I go to work and I go home and I go to work, and it's to be more of a regular person instead of being...
It's an active process.
Yeah.
That's not... A lot of people think, I got it down pat. No. You got to sit down, you got to think, you got to apply, and you really got to work at it in order to understand how you best can represent yourself into a general public.
And that's because I was coming from the military, where you do have to represent yourself as best as you can, and especially to the public, because they may or may not have their own views on the military. Yeah. Well, they most definitely will, but it may or may not be positive. And that's one thing, because you all wear the same uniform, you all wear the same thing, and you're all in the same mindset for the most part. To this hodgepodge of you don't all think for yourself all the time, but some of the time you do think for yourself, and then it's a whole different world out here. Like people, like you said, people think they got it down, and they don't. They really don't.
If anyone thinks like, "Oh, I'm good," you're the farthest away from being good. Yeah. Like you always have to improve. I'm not saying be mad at yourself. I'm not saying, be sad. No. Be constructive. Look to see how you're doing and say, how can I do it better? So that's a really unique perspective, and a lot of people call it common sense, but common sense ain't that common.
Not anymore.
So it's really nice it's refreshing to have someone in here actually communicating about that, because as a comm major, that's one of the hallmarks of the entire perspective that they really try to pound into you as you go through those classes. So as a history major, Matt,
yep,
you know that. You learned that, and it's because of the skills that you took elsewhere and brought them here.
Yeah, I brought them here, and then being a history major, I look at, well, where have I screwed up in the past? What can I do to better myself? And then also, I look at the bigger picture and go, where has maybe company X that I wanted to look at, where have they screwed up in the past, and where does it look like they may be going into the future based on what they're doing right now? And so that's where I did land on Boeing, as they do something I want to do. They have a good track record, and they have a very long and storied history. And
there's prestige there.
Yeah, a lot of prestige. And on top of that, they're getting orders constantly for new aircraft all the time. Yeah, that's where I want to go. That's going to be my future because they at least have projections out to 2030 and 2045 for aircraft deliveries. So I'm like, yeah, I'll go there. I'll work on one aircraft for my entire career.
That's pretty strong.
And then I'll retire.
That's some really strong job security. How did you become a history major? What was the motivation behind that?
Growing up in Easton, being right there at the forks of the Delaware, pretty much where Northampton County started, I was always interested in what happened around me. And then the fact that we have a large historical background right there. Crayola Crayons, their main factory was there and still is. And then there's a lot of other smaller companies. Victaulic Pipe is there. Mack Trucks from Bethlehem. Like, it's always just been little pieces of history around me that I was like, yeah, it really is. And that sowed the seed, really, when I was young. And my grandmother always used to push, well, you could be a really good history teacher. You would be really good at teaching history. And I decided that I didn't want to be a history teacher. That if I did use my history degree, it would be in a museum. Because in a museum, you come there because you want to learn. Unless you're on a school trip, but then you usually end up learning something anyway.
Like a director position or like a guide position?
Like a guide position.
Okay.
And I actually did end up getting to do that when I was in the Air Force. They had they had the second largest Air Force museum in their system at Hill Air Force Base in Utah, where I was. So I ended up getting to volunteer there and get my feet wet with that whole idea. And it actually ended up working out really well. I got to teach kids about all these aircraft that were around them, tell them little things about certain aircraft, show them some stuff. Sometimes I could get them onto the aircraft if they weren't being bad kids and if it was okay with their parents and whatnot. And then I actually ended up getting to meet a Doolittle Raider before he died.
What is that? Sorry.
Jimmy Doolittle led a raid in 1942. It was the first strike on the Japanese nation, where they took bombers on the USS Hornet and went across the ocean secretly after Pearl Harbor and bombed Tokyo. And a lot of them made it over to China, but not all of them. And now there's actually I think there's only one left. And back when I got to meet this guy, he just came in and we were just standing around and I said, hey, sir, you want to learn about the B-25? And he said, son, I already know about that. I flew one over Tokyo in 1942. And I was like, oh my God.
Dropping the mic.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Like I was speechless. Mm-hmm. So, that was just this crazy time that I got to meet something so tied in with everything else. But that set me that I wanted to be a history major and I wanted to work in a museum.
When you got out of high school, was Air Force your first choice or was college your first choice?
Air Force. I had actually never considered college. Mm-hmm. I was always, from the time my mom would tell me, from the time I was 3, I was going to go into the Marines, I was going to go into the Navy, I was going to be a Navy SEAL, this and that. And then I actually ended up joining the Civil Air Patrol when I was 16, and that is a direct link to the Air Force. It's the Air Force Auxiliary. It's completely volunteer. We do a lot of search and rescue. We do a lot of counter-drug missions. There's crazy amounts of stuff that they do that you'll never hear about, just because any of the pictures from Sandy that were from the air and of all the destruction was Hurricane Sandy was all CAP. That was all the Civil Air Patrol going up and down the coast with the cameras, feeding live feed to incident commanders on the ground. 9/11, they were the only civilian aircraft in the air over downtown Manhattan, taking pictures, getting pictures to where they needed to be right then.
And you joined this organization as a 16-year-old?
You can join when you're 12.
Okay.
It's completely volunteer. You join when you're 12. I knew a 96-year-old who joined during World War II and when it was created. The organization is directly linked to the Air Force. I joined when I was 16. There's a cadet rank structure that works its way through. Once you reach a certain point and you join, if you go to join the Air Force, you get the benefit of going in with 2 stripes versus coming in with nothing.
Yeah.
So that was my option. That was the option I chose, which was go CAP, get to cadet second lieutenant, join the Air Force as an E3, make extra money.
And then all that, I'm trying to wrap it up in a nice little bow. All of that, what you just said, the Star Spangled Resume, honestly, like that's what you just said. It's just chock full of this experience right there. All that led to a history major at Kutztown.
The GI Bill is what made me come to school.
And does that help? That helps you work at the Veteran Center. Is that how you get? Are you stipend through that?
So I get my GI Bill. It pays my tuition. It gives me a small stipend for books at the beginning of each semester, based on your workload. It has to be 12 or more credit hours, and then I get a housing allowance because I took the post 9/11 GI Bill. Mm-hmm. Then when I'm working at the Veteran Center, that's a work-study program.
Oh, okay.
So that's complete. You have to be taking the GI Bill to get that program, but then it gives you a regular paycheck.
Yeah. Okay.
And sort of supplements what you're already making.
I remember Stephanie mentioning that. She said it was it's not like a selective process, but it's also a very careful process.
Yeah.
You have to meet a specific amount of criteria in order to be eligible in the first place.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. It says here on my notes, you're the military club president for 2016-2017.
I was.
That's coming up on 2 years. What exactly did you do in that role?
Well, it was just fall of 16, spring of 17. As the military club president, I obviously ran the military club, planned all the events and okayed all the events that we held, because we also had a vice president and anyone that came up with the ideas for events, wing nights, going to the pub. Yeah, okay, go do it, have fun. And then our biggest event was our 5K race.
Yeah,
and that was in April of last year. But yeah, that's the big event that we do. We also do the canned food drive for the Valley Clinic. But this year we did Christmas cards for deployed troops, and those went over they went out like hotcakes.
Yeah.
It was great. It was crazy. We got them printed out. Actually, the art club designed them for us, and then
synergy, love it.
Yeah, in the art club, they're great to work with, for us at least. I don't know if anyone else has had a good experience with them.
They're fairly new and they're pretty nice. We've promoted them before. Pretty nice people.
Good people over there. So they designed a great card for us. I got shown the card before they showed it to the rest of the club by one of the art club members, and I said, it's great that it's a snowman with a top hat, but you should probably put like a bandolier and a helmet on it. And they went back and made that little change, and they sold like hotcakes.
Cool. Very good. Just one last question. How has your experiences within the Veterans Center, within the military club here at Kutztown University, shaped your perspective while getting a job at Boeing?
How has it shaped my perspective?
Yeah, what's a skill? What's just something that you're gonna carry with you? Because you're leaving soon. You're leaving next week.
I leave Friday.
You
leave next Friday.
Week.
Yeah,
next Friday. Okay.
Yeah, 30th.
You leave soon.
Yeah. That I would have to say because I already knew how to work with people that I worked with, but the military club and the Veterans Center has really helped me with working with people that I don't work with.
Different types of people, different offices, different playing by some other office's rules, because maybe that office might have a different way of doing things. Like bureaucratic politics, man.
Bureaucratic politics. That sums it up real nice right there. I have to go to KUSI and I got to get these posters printed out. Okay, well, KUSI tells me I have to do it this way, but then I go over to OSI, but OSI wants it done that way, and I learned how to navigate the waters.
Yeah, it's a trip.
Yeah,
it's something that I've been challenged with multiple times, and you know what? When you learn, it just makes everything so much easier. I mean, yeah, that's very good though. I mean, I would say as a student leader, that is probably just to deal with a general amount of people.
Yep.
There's just so many different moving parts, and being able to facilitate the consistency and the progress through all that, because they got 50 of you, 50 of me coming at them all at once from every which location going, yo, I need this. Instead of just listening and saying, how can I help you? It's the other way around. You gotta give and take a little bit.
Give and take, and then you pile up your favors.
Yeah.
And then eventually you go, hey, you remember that one time that I did that? You want to just that small thing for me? Yeah, thanks.
There you go. Well, Matt, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you today.
It's a great time.
Yeah, we're like I said, Stephanie, Mary Beth, they come down all the time. They push you guys good. I'm hoping you're not finishing this semester out. You're leaving very shortly.
Yep.
But you said you were going to do an online course and get your degree.
Yeah, I literally have one class. One class. And I'm in that class right now, but
when a job calls,
when a career calls you,
job or no job, man.
Hey, we want you to start Friday the 13th.
You called it life.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yep,
life's calling. You get an answer? I think you did. There you go. So, Matt, again, thank you so much.
No problem.
This has been a special segment on Kutztown Live where, I don't know, we haven't really done too many veterans profiles, but let's start. This has been a really unique opportunity. So my name is Michael O'Mara. For all things Kutztown Live, be sure to check us out on the Kutztown University YouTube page. There it is. Or on social media using hashtag KURadio.